Football season is upon us. The regular season, the games that matter, and right now, this has been a very interesting preseason for me. Post Tom Brady, you're having to really look at players and get an idea of can they contribute to this team to help them win. Todd Bowles is still going through his progressions as a head coach with this team, and this will be his first season with the majority of the players that he's kind of wanted or that he wants on his team. So it's going to be exciting to see that. And there's so much to talk about that I want to get to tonight. But before we go any further, I want to bring in my co-host Michael Pless, a man that you guys are all familiar with. If you've been following Buc What You Heard for a while, this is my guy right here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Gene, man. It's great to be back on.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've been watching some of your videos, and folks, if you're not following Michael Pless on YouTube, you really got to. I mean, so educational, just his breakdown on different players and what to expect. And I think it's really, especially right now as we're going into this final game of the preseason, I think it's important to really key in on some of these players. And plus, you've really put out some really good content as far as who to follow, who to look for, and again, there are just some players like a guy that I really like is Tucker. He's the running back. We haven't had this kind of excitement outside of Leonard Fournette. Maybe we haven't really for a long time had this kind of excitement for a running back, what they could potentially do. So, excuse me. What are your thoughts as far as what to expect in this preseason game and what to look for?
Yeah, well, I think, the main thing is we're going to, finally see the starters play. So it looks like, if healthy, all the starters are going to be out there for at least the first half. And then the second half is probably going to be more of what we've seen so far, which is, the second and third team trying to fight for a roster spot and, guys trying to solidify their roles. And, Sean Tucker is definitely one of those guys. He's getting, more reps with the first and second team, it looks like. So he just looks comfortable out there. It looks like he's, starting to find his footing. He had a really nice game last week against the Jets. And yeah, really, really explosive player. So I think that's really cool to see. And, it should be interesting, especially seeing, guys we haven't seen yet play this year. A lot of the main guys, starters in there, the starting offensive line and all those things I think will be nice. And really, I think the main thing you're just looking for is just continuation of execution, continue to eliminate the penalties, which they did better job last week. And, most importantly, got to stay healthy. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, 100%. I'm right there with you. And, I'm really excited to see Tristan Wirfs. You know my personal opinion on him. I'm not going to bring all that back up again, but it's going to be interesting to see what he does in his new position, how all this will affect this offensive line. I think the biggest part of the offensive line, I know Jonas had mentioned the first string offensive line is cohesiveness. That's going to be very important for this team to be on the same page as they're going out to start the season. That's going to bode well. If they're able to do that, that's going to bode well for Baker Mayfield, who, by the way, was announced as the Bucs starting quarterback going into week 1.
Yeah. Baker, Baker's the guy. I think that's the right choice. He just makes a lot of sense from, this offense and what they're trying to do. And it'll be really cool to, see him out there and see what kind of, I guess, flow or, the play calls that they're going to, come out with the first team and, see some, more of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and see what they really have. Rashad White, same thing. But yeah, I think, Tristan and Matt Filer, getting them out there with Robert Hainsey and Cody Mock and then Luke Gedeke. Yeah, see what you have. See if they can handle, blitz pickups and, talk and communicate as far as, just picking up different things, stunts and all sorts of games that, Baltimore is probably going to throw at them on Saturday. So that will be cool and see where they're at see if they need more work or maybe they got this thing down pat. So
Yeah, and
that'll be
folks,
definitely something.
and what you have to really keep in mind, folks, is you have to be patient with this. A lot of these players haven't played together. Well, they haven't played together in a real game where it counted. So, it may take a couple of weeks. It may be something that comes right away. We don't know. One thing that I'm really a little bit more, I was pleasantly surprised. I was listening to Dave Canellis, and this will be the first time that I've actually listened to a press conference. And because I've been, if you know anything about me, there are times where I'm just indifferent about certain things that occur until I see where things are getting better, or things are improving, or if they're staying the same. It just kind of depends on the how the game turns out. But bringing him in is I'm so much more excited about this season than last season. With the previous offensive coordinator, and he says a lot of things that make sense. It's basic. He's not going out of his way, but a lot of things that really make sense, like giving players a chance to succeed, putting them in a position to succeed, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think what he does is he's straightforward. He understands what he's talking about, and he gives you just a clear direction of what he's trying to accomplish, which is very refreshing. At times, he's maybe a little bit too honest, but I think he's honest to the point where it's not, putting him in jeopardy or the players in jeopardy. He's really smart about it. So I think you have to respect that. You have to respect how he's handling the media, and you can see the vision that he's definitely trying to bring here to the offense.
Yeah, I think that he's putting players in the best position to succeed. Is
Mm-hmm.
sounds like is what his philosophy is. And I'm telling you what, I will be all in if we see in-game adjustments. I'm all in. I mean, there's just no other, nothing else I can really say about it. It's just what I'm looking for in a coordinator and a coach, is to realize that, hey, this isn't working. Let's do something else. Let's try something else. Having something else on there that you could kind of go with.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And I think you could probably, we'll probably see some of that this week. They'll probably try some of, their audibles and like some hot routes and, stuff of that nature where
Mhm.
they're trying to get into different looks. And, probably the first drive will probably be kind of scripted. They'll probably go through, one of their scripted, play sheets. And then from there, you'll probably see some adjustments where they're going to try to change some things up because, Baltimore will probably give them a pretty good test. I mean,
Mhm.
we're talking about a team that just won 24 preseason games in a row. And then they just lost on Monday night to Washington.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I like this opponent coming up this week. I think Coach Harbaugh and his team always give you a good matchup because they're very smart. They don't beat themselves and play the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. Jonas made an interesting statement here. That's the goal for every offensive coordinator to put players in a position to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
As a lifelong Bucs fan, I've seen offensive coordinators that are stubborn or egotistical, and they only want they draw up this game plan, and regardless of how the game is going, they're sticking to this game plan. Whether it does a disservice to a player or not, this is the game plan. This is what they're working with. And from what I've seen, there are players. I mean, there are offensive coordinators that see things, they make adjustments, and it's for the betterment of the team. And that's what I think that's ultimately the goal that you want from an offensive coordinator, to see those things, and they're able to make those adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, you're out there, you're playing, a chess match. So,
Right.
you have to understand, what is working or what hasn't worked so far. And that's the thing that usually you go into a game plan and you see that, hey, on this certain down or this play, it's not going to work against this opponent. So we take that out of the playbook altogether. And you formulate a plan where it's going to be best suited for your players and it's going to give you the best chance for success. But like you said, the opponent gets paid as well. So they
Right.
come in, they make adjustments themselves and it's up to the offense coordinator to find a way to figure out, okay, we need to go to said play that is going to work for us, or a grouping or a formation that's going to be successful. That's what a good offense coordinator does, and really understanding when to push the limit of being aggressive and when
Mhm.
to hold back. So I think that's what hopefully we see with Dave Canales. I have a good feeling that we will, just based on what he's talked about so far. It seems
Yeah.
like he has a very good football mind. Obviously, comes from a very good background in Seattle, and that should be pretty cool.
Yeah. Did you get to watch the press conference today?
Yeah, I did. I did watch it. I really
Yeah,
liked it.
yeah,
So.
I wanted to kind of get your takeaway from it, and I'll follow
Mhm.
up with mine.
Yeah, no, I thought, he did a great job of explaining the competition between Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield. I thought that was spot on. Kyle pushed Baker to a point where Baker kind of rose up and took his game to another level,
Yeah.
but also Kyle, still performed well where he's just not there at the level
Mhm.
that Baker is, and Baker right now has that experience and just overall leadership where he's got total command of the offense, and that makes sense why they want to go with that guy instead of Kyle, who is still trying to get to that level. But you can see the steps that he's taking, and I think they feel confident that Kyle will continue to grow. And if Kyle has to come in for whatever reason, he'll be ready, ready to start.
That's the most important part to think about here.
Mm.
I think Baker realizes that he doesn't have a whole lot more chances in the NFL as a
No,
starting
this,
quarterback.
yeah.
So, with Kyle Trask pushing him, which he did, I know a lot of, well, I know this goes into the intercollegiate rivalry, which I have no skin in the game, but Florida State versus Florida, that kind of thing. But I thought that Kyle Trask did a very good job. I love his deep ball, a nice deep ball on him.
Hmm.
But again, you look at the awareness, you look at what, as far as the management of the game, I've been really impressed with Baker Mayfield. I realize that this is preseason and we won't really know for sure until the regular season. But from what I've seen so far, I like the adjustments that he's made, and just getting out there and putting in his team in a position to score.
Yeah, absolutely. And, yeah, so Dave talked about that. I thought he did a really good job of explaining it. And then, just going into certain situations, they talked about third and short. And that was a popular quote that was on today from Twitter, just talking about you have to get these guys in the right spot. You can't always go, man against man and try to win every time. You have to create it with variation, and you have to understand that you have to have different looks
Right.
to set these teams up, to make those third and ones, more easier to convert. So I thought that was cool. And then also, touching on Sean Tucker. So really, they're really high on him. He's got a lot of speed and ability to his game. Talking about the offensive line and how, Luke Gedeke and Cody Mock are those aggressive type, run blockers, and they're really excited about them. So yeah,
You know,
I thought it was well said.
yeah, absolutely. When you look back, when you look at this running back room, I forgot what I was looking at. Somebody has the Bucs running back room ranked 32, and I don't know where that comes from or what that is, but I'm
Yeah.
having a hard
Well,
time with that.
it's I mean, it's kind of valid just because again, we don't know what Rashad White's going to be. Obviously, we're hoping he's going to project into something special based on what we saw limited last year.
Mhm.
And you look at the rest of the room. I mean, you have Chase Edmonds, who I think is a solid running back, a solid number two. I think Sean Tucker has a lot of upside, and Keyshawn Vaughn is kind of on the bubble. We don't know if they're going to keep him
Yeah.
or let him go and kind of be that practice squad, running back for
Does
them.
does he factor more in as a special teams player? Is that add to his value? I think we
Right.
talked about this a little bit last week,
Yeah.
but being a good special teams player, does that add into the value of a Keyshawn Vaughn? Whereas if he was that guy, that just an offensive player, he wouldn't. I don't know. I just kind of wonder, would he be on this team? like would be a factor on this team like he is.
Yeah, no, I think special teams plays a huge part, and I think that's the reason why he would probably stay, if they were going to keep 4 running backs. But again, it might not be necessary. They might have a need to keep other positions like outside linebacker, where that might be a little bit more heavy, and they want to let go of a running back. So, but yeah, I mean that will be the decision factor is going to be special teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something, fans, me and you, we haven't really talked a lot about is
Mm.
special teams. How is special teams going to factor into this? I mean, with the departure of Ryan Suckup, how comfortable are you with the kicking game? Because those points
Mm.
are vital. We know every point is vital, but
Yeah.
just and then we lose the kicker. What is his name?
Right, Rodrigo. Yep,
Rodrigo. He
yep,
got
he got
cut.
cut. Mhm.
Yeah, he got cut. So I mean, how are the Bucs stacked as far as special teams? I mean, when you kind of deep dive into it.
Yeah, I think special teams will be okay. I like Chase McLaughlin. I mean, the coverage units are going to need work, and they'll get better. I think they got better last year as the year went on, especially when you had guys in defined roles.
Right.
Right now, they're trying a lot of new guys, so some things will break down, and that's where you get like, the long return last week from the Jets. So again, that's an area that it's going to be kind of fluid, and you
But
hope it
that's
improves.
historic. Historically, that's the Bucs have always their
Yeah,
special
yeah,
teams.
yeah. You just hope for the best.
Yeah.
I really like the punter. I think Jake Camarda is one of the best. I think he's going to continue to be really good. You just got to hope he's just awesome every time. He just, they make him fair catch the ball, and you don't have to cover as much. Kickoff returns, I mean, just kick it out of the end zone. That's what you're trying to do. So, and
Yeah.
then our return teams, I'm confident in Devin Tompkins. I would like to, hopefully he gets some return opportunities where he can actually, get north and south. Because I do think he's electric, and I also like Trey
Yeah.
Palmer as a returner as well. So
Yeah. Speaking of, here's another name. After the draft,
mm,
all the dust settled, you see who you have, and then to see him play, I really hope that his play transcends to the regular season, because how
mhm,
many times have we seen those um, preseason darlings that go out there and perform, and then when you get to the regular season, it's not the same thing. But
mhm.
I think that this guy truly has skill, and I believe that he will be a big part of this Bucks offense. I would even go so far as to say that he's going to catch people flat-footed, like we saw with my man Sauce Gardner.
Mm,
I don't think Sauce was expecting to get the cook like he did, but
yeah.
that's what I'm hoping for going into this season, because you've got a Mike Evans, what you get with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, what you get with Chris Godwin, and then you have somebody like this who can actually catch the ball and has speed. Um,
Right.
I think the number 10 jersey has been upgraded, in my opinion, so far. Well, it just remains to be seen. But, I have hope that this will be what we'll be seeing as the season progresses.
Yeah, for sure. I like Trey Palmer again. Another late round draft pick from Jason Light, out of Nebraska. So yeah, I mean, he's doing everything he can to get on the field and
Mhm.
be that consistent playmaker for us. So I really like it. I mean, he's got speed, size, got everything you need to be successful. Now it's just those little things that he's going to have to learn as he goes to get better. But yeah, another great draft pick by Jason, and his staff has really done a great job of finding these undrafted guys that he's bringing in, undrafted and late round draft picks as well.
And I'll tell you right now, I'm really excited about this, because I don't know if you remember when Mike Evans was drafted.
Mhm.
The knock on him was his route running. He rounds off his routes, he cuts off his routes. His routes are not clean. But as he progressed, regardless of who the offensive coordinator was or head
Mhm.
coach, he continued to progress, and he continued to refine his game. And this is what I'm hoping that we get from a Trey Palmer is somebody that's, hey, I'm going to get in here. This is what I'm going to do. And I think, being with this within this wide receiver room with Chris Godwin, with Mike Evans, and how close they are, it's not a competition between the two, but they play as a team, that he can come in and he can get better as the season progresses as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Mike and Chris have been. It seems like they add something new to their arsenal every year, and they just continue to get better. I'm really excited to see Chris Godwin on the outside. I think that's going to be huge for him. We can finally see him kind of be used like he was back in 2018, where he had that kind of great year, and then 2019 he exploded as well, where he's just utilized more on the outside. So really looking forward to that.
And while you're talking about Chris Godwin, he's 100% healthy. He was still coming back from an injury last year, and we didn't see the real Chris Godwin. But I think that, and he's a player that I'm really looking forward to this year to see how he bounces back, because in the back end of the season, you started to see the Chris Godwin of old, where he was getting back and he's in football shape. He's able to go out there and make plays, and it's just effortless for him. So I'm thinking that this is his season where he can come in and really make a difference. Joshua Cole Allen, what's going on? Just real quick, plus Jonas Steckler, LC Leprechaun, of course, Joshua Cole Allen, G Vegas, Payday 39, Krillin, Al Bundy. I love the name. Love the name. Tad, I'm messing this up. Tad PXLE. You gotta like hyphenate that out for me in the chat. And anybody else, Zachary Jarvis, KGH for life. Thank you guys so much for jumping in the chat. I really appreciate it. We're just talking about preseason, what to expect. Are there any camp battles that you guys that are listening are looking forward to? Who do you think is going to make this team? Who do you think is going to get cut? That'd be really interesting to see your thoughts in the chat, and I'll definitely share those with everybody else. But, kind of getting back to this, we haven't really touched on the defense too much. But I kind of wanted to jump over to the defense and talk about Kalijah Kancey.
Yes.
I'm excited to hear that he's out there. He's not going full speed, but could he be somebody that we'll see on against the Vikings?
Yeah, I think he's in play. I think he's going to be right at the 6-week mark from when he got injured back in July. So he got injured July 30th. So that would put him right at 6 weeks for the first regular season game. And it looks like he's on pace. I mean, right now he's moving around. He's doing warm-ups with the team, which is great news. So it looks like he's on schedule. And again, you don't want to rush him. You want to make sure he's 100%, especially with those calf strains, because they tend to linger if they're not fully healed. But it looks like he's going to be ready, and that's a great news for the Bucs defense. I can't wait to see him in there, because he's so advanced as not only just a football player, but his pass rush arsenal and his ability to hold up and hold up against the run, make disruptive plays. That's going to be a lot of fun to see.
Oh, yeah. And I think he gives the Bucs a better chance to get home with 4. And, we've preached this. We preached this last year, especially, I think, more so this year, with the way the secondary is right now. And there's not a lot of depth at secondary. It's going to be very vital for that front 4 to get pressure on the quarterback, make him uncomfortable. And, it basically helps everybody on the backside to do better, because they're not having to hold plays as long as they were in the first place. So that's going to definitely be a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean, just talk about the secondary depth. I mean, it's definitely younger. It's not as experienced as it has been in the past. When you look at, obviously Jamel Dean, Carlton Davis have their injury history, so you're hoping they can stay more healthy this year. Zion McCollum pretty much becomes the new Sean Murphy Bunting, where he's going to be that outside corner for them. Oh, there you go. There's the beer. Is that your beer of choice for the season?
Yeah, this is the official Buc What Ya Heard beer. Highlight.
All right, very good choice. That's an excellent decision by you, my friend. Um, it's really good. I love that beer. So, but yeah, the secondary. You look at those three, and then you look at D Delaney, who is probably going to be like your versatile piece. He can play safety or corner, and then Christian Izien has a good chance of being the nickel for you, which would be pretty cool because he's another undrafted free agent that they got from Rutgers. Obviously, Coach Bowles knows him because his son plays at Rutgers, so there's a connection there. So yeah, you have those guys, and then it'll probably be like Keenan Isaac or maybe one of these other guys that they brought in for cornerback 5, and then safety. Safety is probably the most worry I have because really they don't have anybody behind Antoine
It's
Winfield or
paper thin.
Ryan Neal. So you look at like Kayvon Merriweather. I know they're very high on him.
Mm.
He could definitely be someone to look at. Nolan Turner. I mean, he's been up and down for me. So I think they'll probably roll with maybe 3 safeties, and you'll have like Izien where he's that safety / nickel. And then you can also put D Delaney in there too. So it kind of opens up a roster spot that way. Maybe carry some extra guys on the practice squad. But that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, because safeties are at a premium. I mean,
Mhm.
historically, if you look at the Bucs, how long did the Bucs go without like quality safety play? I mean,
Right.
it was maddening to watch it. I mean, I think that's where me and you had first started talking about, and then it was like a little bit before you came on the podcast, and we still hadn't had good secondary play, and it
Mm.
was just guys playing 15 yards off the ball, getting smoked, and it was just bad. And I think where we are now, we're kind of spoiled. And
Mhm.
even I like the talent that we have, but I think we're kind of spoiled if you think back to 2013, 2014, and what the Bucs were working with back then, and you look at where we are now and just the players that that we have. So again, I guess you got to kind of give these guys a chance and let's see what you have. But
Mhm.
as far as we're looking right now, the secondary, I mean, I'll just say safety
Right.
is kind of thin. Now, the next position I definitely wanted to talk with you about was the linebacker position, and we can go up
Mhm.
and down here. But
Okay.
how comfortable are you on a scale of 1 to 10? How comfortable are you with this linebacker position right now, the linebacker room?
I mean, I love the outside linebackers. I think that's really good, good depth, really good. The inside linebackers, I mean, right now you have Devin White and Levante,
Mhm.
and then probably KJ Britt and Servassier
Mhm.
Dennis. But
Yeah,
the one guy that could surprise and make the team is JJ Russell. I mean, he's playing really well. So he's been one of the top linebackers so far in this preseason, according to PFF. And so he's got a good chance of maybe making the roster, which would be interesting. I mean, he was on the team last year, I know, at certain times, but he's definitely one to keep your eye out for.
yeah. Mark Ramirez was saying, "What are your thoughts on Logan Hall?"
Uh Logan Hall, yeah.
Uh,
He is
Next
he
question.
yeah. he's 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 definitely interesting. I'm hoping he gets
I'm gonna say this because I was like me. I use that word indifferent. I was really indifferent on that pick. And a lot of
Mhm.
people were upset, and a lot of people jumping out the window. I He's still got time to improve. He's still within that my 3-4 year window. So we didn't see a lot of market improvement last year. So again, he's got an opportunity to go out there and make plays this year. But my expectations are like to the floor with him. I'm not sure what to expect, but we'll just see. If and I would be pleasantly surprised if he's productive this year, but I'm not personally expecting a whole lot. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I think that the key for Logan is just hoping he's not a liability against the run. Hopefully he can get better to hold his ground there where
Mhm.
he can maintain his gaps. I think that's going to be a big thing for him on first and second down. I think pass rush wise, you just want to see more explosion and a better game plan as far as rushing the quarterback. So hopefully with when you're adding in like Vita Vea, you're adding in Kalijah Cansey along next side, next to those two, hopefully that takes the pressure off of him and he can win, those one-on-one matchups that we're expecting him to do. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how he plays. I'm looking forward to see what he does this week. And hopefully he can give us a little bit better showing and give us more hope as fans. Just got to hope that potential starts coming out sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Sorry guys, I'm behind on the chat. The beer is Highlight, Cigar City.
Yes.
You got to go down there and check them out. The food's good too. I love eating there.
Yep. It's a India Pale Ale. It's really good. So yeah, I enjoy it. It's one of my favorites. I'm big into the IPA. So I love like any Cigar City or Coppertail. Really like them. A lot of good beers out there.
Yeah, my second favorite is Florida Man, of course.
Oh, that's awesome
For obvious reasons.
It is great. It is great. I like. There's another one by what is it? Wicked Weed is the company, and they have one that's called Casual Love. And is
that local?
It's good. I think it is local here in Florida, but yeah, I just got it because of the name, and I was like, man, this is pretty good. So
yeah, definitely.
I enjoyed it.
So, and guys, again, I'm joined by Michael Pless, Real Bucs Talk. Please go out and check out the site. Go out and like and subscribe, if you can right now. He's done film study on Sean Tucker, Raheem Jarrett. He's even talked about the Jets versus the Bucs offensive line, Marquise Watts, Trey Palmer, Yaya Diaby. He's talked about a lot of different players. And he's gone into a lot of depth with them. And if you get a chance to check it out, it definitely will help you as you're watching this preseason game coming up, just to kind of give you an idea of what these players can do. And it's possible that, there are going to be some casualties. And I think somebody had asked the question in the chat, is Marquise Watts a potential casualty as far as not making the team?
Oh man, I love Marquise Watts. I think he has a really good chance of making this team. Just what he's shown so far. We put a film study on him out on the channel, and yeah, just love his tape. So I'm hoping he has another strong performance this week. He's competing up against Cam Gill, who Cam has played really well too. So it's going to really come down to that thing we talked about earlier, which is special teams. Like who's the better option on special teams, who can offer more versatility. So that's going to be the deciding factor. I think Jose Ramirez is finally going to play this week against Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
But I think they're trying to stash him. I think they're trying to put him on the practice squad. So I think that's why they probably haven't played him a bunch. But he might actually get some snaps this week and see what he has.
Yeah, that's somebody I've been waiting to see. And I totally understand it. When you look at Jason Light, I know a lot of people have really been critical of Jason Light, but when you look at where he started and you look at where he's at right now, and people want to bring up his misses, but we could go across the NFL as a whole, all 31 other teams. And every general manager has their whiff or had their mistake or had their missed opportunities. So when I look at Jason Light and what he's done, what he's been able to put together, he was able to put together a team that would draw a Tom Brady to Tampa. And I think you have to put that in perspective, that Tom Brady could have gone to a lot of other teams. I mean, Tom Brady wasn't looking at the Cleveland Browns. He wasn't, he wasn't looking at the Indianapolis Colts. He saw what the Bucs had, and he came here, eventually based on what the Bucs had. Then I can promise you, he wasn't going to go through a rebuilding project. He wanted to win now. So, again, you have to give Jason Light his flowers for what he's done. I know a lot of people don't like a lot of the picks he's made, but again, you can't hit on everything. But he's hit on some really big ones that have been corner pieces for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, you talk about a Vita Vea, you talk about a Mike Evans, you talk about some of these other players out here. Antoine Winfield Jr., a player that everybody was like, whatever. Nobody was like excited. I was excited about the pick, but a lot of people weren't excited about the pick. So all I can say is, what he's put together, what he's done with the cap, with the help of the people around him. They really put some things together to keep the Bucs competitive, and that's important. That's very important. Being able to rotate players out, get other players in, and keep the team competitive. So I think this year is going to be an interesting year post Tom Brady to see what he can do. And again, if he has a successful season, this just adds a little bit more to him and my push for him to be in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I think, Jason and his staff have really done a great job. And, when you look at it, they did a lot to put everything in for the last 3 years as far as 2020 to 2022, really trying to maximize Tom Brady's time here and try to get that, multiple championships. They got one, which was awesome, especially in 2020 during COVID. So they did their job. They got it done. And now you look at the after fact and the dead caps that they have to deal with Tom Brady retiring and his contract. So they had to rework. They had to let go of a lot of guys, reshuffle contracts, do all those kind of things. And, to put together, I think, a pretty good roster of what they have now. It's younger, it's faster. There's going to be some growing pains with some certain positions, but I think it's in a really good spot to be competitive because you still have a lot of talent here on both sides of the ball. And when you look at it from that standpoint, I think you have to be proud as a Bucs fan, knowing that this team's going to be in every game this season going, moving forward.
I'm glad you said that, because if we look at the original Super Bowl run, that run was over right after it started. And a lot of that had to do with poor decisions by the general manager. And there were a lot of, whether it was draft picks or whether it was free agency, there was just a lot of poor picks. And we went through that drought for quite some time. And again, it just and I keep saying this, we're spoiled by what we have. When you have a competent general manager who can come in and make decisions, I know a lot of decisions people don't like. Whether you didn't pick up a Gator or you didn't pick up a Seminole or whatever, but you get the guy that can come in here and play. That's what's important. Wins and losses. I love college football, love it to death, but I hate when it bleeds over into professional football. I think it needs to stay in its place. That rivalry needs to stay in college. Whereas when you're talking about the NFL, you want a guy that's going to come in, contribute, and put your allegiances aside, your collegiate allegiances aside. It should be about winning games, wins and losses, wins and losses. That's what we should be looking at. So to me, when I heard that Baker Mayfield was coming, in the beginning, I was indifferent. Finally got to the all 22, started watching him with the Rams, started seeing, when he's coached up, when he's put in a position to make decisions and make plays, he was able to make quite a few plays. I love his legs. The fact that he can make plays with his legs, something we didn't have with Tom Brady. Not to take anything away from him. There's no comparison. It's just that what you have with Baker Mayfield, with this offensive coordinator, with this offensive line, with these wide receivers and tight ends, I think that it will benefit the Bucs to have somebody that can make plays with their legs.
Yeah, definitely. I think it keeps the defense honest, right? So you're making the defense cover the entire field. I think that's the difference between Baker and Tom Brady. Baker has that ability to escape outside of the pocket. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. He can run into sacks and do some of those things. That is what you have to try to limit with him. But he just gives you so much versatility with the bootlegs, the play action game, moving the pocket, doing all those different things that you see, modern NFL offenses do now, where you're keeping the defense guessing. You're using a lot of pre-snap motion. You're getting guys, free releases. So you're making it easier for the quarterback. I was talking to Mark, my co-host at Real Bucs Talk. I was talking with him
What's up, Mark?
during during the game, and I was asking him, I was like, "Have you ever seen our receivers be this open? Like as far as presenting
Wide ass
easy,
open, as to coin a phrase.
yeah, just to present an easy option for your quarterback to get an easy completion. Like really haven't had those in the past where, oh, okay, we know this is going to be a completion here because of the play design and all those things. So that has me excited for the offense and seeing what this team can do. Again, a lot of things have to come together. Not saying that it's not going to be easy. There's going to be a lot of challenges, especially early on. But I think you have to feel confident with what they have, so far going into the season. And some of it's going to have to be luck. You have to get that injury bounces going your way. You got to stay healthy and hopefully you can get into a rhythm early on in the season that can take over as you progress forward.
Yeah. And again, it's market improvement. That's what you're
Mm-hmm.
looking for. You're
Yeah.
looking for this team to, what they had deficiencies in the previous game, they make up for it the next game. Case in point, you saw a bunch of penalties in that first preseason game. You saw they cleaned up a bunch of penalties. And that's what you want to continue to see improvement. You want to see that cohesion as this team goes into the regular season. And a good question, and I still don't know the answer. I don't think anybody does. Um, Somebody was asked, "Oh, does
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Jensen play at all this season?"
Yeah, I
That's
just I just answered it. I think he's going to start the year on IR. Obviously they're going to keep him on the 53-man roster, and then once waivers clear, they'll put him on IR. He'll be out for the first, whatever that is, for first 4 weeks, and then I think they'll reassess. Personally, I don't think it's looking good. He might be done for the season. I don't know if he's going to come back because when you do the operation that he did, which wasn't surgery, he went in and got stem cells. That can be hit or miss.
right,
Either the knee responds to it, and right now they're trying to get that knee to respond and let those tendons heal naturally, and right now it just doesn't seem like he has the strength to withstand the football rigors, the
right,
contact and all that stuff. So
yeah,
I'm hoping for the best. Hopefully they're just keeping it hush hush and they're going to surprise us all, but right now it doesn't look good that they don't have any update to provide us.
yeah. What's interesting to me is last year, and I guess I understand last year. It's Tom Brady's last year.
Mm,
Everybody knows it. Nobody's
mm,
saying it, but everybody knows it.
yeah.
And you're like you're keeping quiet about what's going on with him, and they didn't shut him down and let him have surgery or move forward. They just kind of move forward with what they did, and then here we are. We're still dealing with an injury from the previous season. So my hope is that we see him at some point,
Mhm,
midpoint of the season, maybe. I don't know, but I
yeah.
would love to see him on the field. He is sorely missed. His attitude, his tenacity, just what he brings to that offensive line. I can tell you right now, just talking to the Saints fans hate Ryan Jensen. They're glad he's not on the field. So that
Right.
tells you just how good this guy is. Since allegedly we're the Saints are in our heads and that's all we can think about. But just talking to some of those guys, and they're like, man, I'm glad Ryan Jensen isn't on the field. Yeah, because he pretty much got in the heads of everybody on that defensive line and they hated him. So again, there's somebody you need back out there to really contribute to this team. But again, on a human factor, I want to see him come back healthy. I want to see him come back to where when his career is over, he could go off and be pain free. But I don't want to rush him back. I want to see him come back. And this is as a human being. I say this. I love what he's done, but at the same time, I want him to be healthy. I want him to come back, and not have to worry about being out or this whatever this injury is. It just kind of ruins the rest of his career.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people were, talking about, why did he just do surgery or, what have you, but again, I think maybe that's some of his choice. I mean, maybe he just didn't want to pursue with surgery because surgery it's a tough deal.
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah,
lot to go through.
yeah,
So I know he was going through a lot of different doctors' opinions. I think he saw like 5 doctors and decided to go with, that last option, which was, the stem cell, uh, route, and see if it could work and heal naturally. And, it's a credit to him that he was out there against Dallas. Now, again,
Yeah,
he probably should not have played. And he said that because
yeah, he should have shut him down.
yeah, he wasn't ready at all. He didn't play well. Um, and I think it was just kind of an emergency move where, got to remember, both Nick Leverett and Robert Hainsey both got hurt that week.
Right.
So they
They were
were already
done.
down. Yeah, they were already down, guys. And so with that said, I mean, like you pointed to, I just hope he gets healthy and can really resume his NFL career without, having, I guess, long-term effects moving forward.
Yeah, me too, man. I love the pickup when he was brought over to the Buccaneers. I was super excited about the pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Just seeing how nasty he could be. I just love offensive linemen like that are just like, they'll ground you into the dirt a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then kick some dirt in your face, right after the whistle or something.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of players that you want. I don't want somebody helping somebody else up. I think we kind of see that with Wirfs a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we just, I want to see that from this offensive line as a whole. Uh, because I think you got the players there. They have the physical talent. I just believe they just need to put it all together. You check up from the neck up, and that's kind of what you want to see. So I'm hoping that this is what we'll get, from this offensive line. I've been giving up hope on them because, again, and I keep going back in history, when you look at what the Bucs have had on the offensive line at times, you got to appreciate what you have right now. I mean, O'Neal Cousins and players like that we had, and you look at some of the players we have now, and again, I think they passed the eye test, and they've got the physical tools. Just got to check up from the neck up, and they got to work together as a unit. And I think they'll be just fine.
Yeah, for sure. And to put another feather in Jason Licht's cap, I mean, this is why you draft a Robert Hainsey, back in 2021, because of these things that can happen. So now you
Yeah.
have a guy that's been developing, played pretty solid last year for you at center,
Mhm.
and now he's probably going to be the starter moving forward as of right now. And you just hope, he can continue to progress and be that solid piece for you in the middle alongside, the rest of your offensive linemen. And the good news is we get to see him this week against Baltimore and see what they have as far as where they're at,
Yeah.
continuity wise. Obviously the great news is they have been playing together all training camp. So I think that's cool. And now we get to see it in a live game, see what they can do as far as blitz packages and all those different things, picking it up, because that's what they're going to face week 1 in Minnesota. You're going to face a lot of, simulated pressures. You're going to face a lot of
Right.
blitzing from Brian Flores, who's the defense coordinator there. So you're going to have to be ready for those types of defensive packages for sure.
Yeah, exactly, man. So again, this is a team that there's still some question marks for me. Probably the biggest one is special teams, but
Mhm.
I think they've got the coaching staff that are able to put these players in the best position to win. Again, I haven't given up on Todd Bowles as a defensive coordinator, as a defensive play caller. Love him to death. I don't think you could go wrong with somebody like that with that kind of knowledge, and we've seen that. Even with the limited amount of talent on the field, he's still been able to make moves and put his defense in a position to make decisions. I know a lot of people look at that play against the Rams, that last play against the Rams, but I mean, if you look at his career collectively as a Buccaneer, he's really done some things. So, I'm happy with Todd Bowles, head coach. It still remains to be seen. We'll see what comes from that.
Right.
I think that if he goes the Dungy way, where you let the offense, you leave the offense to the offensive coordinator. You focus a little bit more on special teams and your defense, and you're able to do the overall game management when during the game. I think you'll be just fine. And again, it's one of those things. You can't be conservative in today's NFL. I'm sorry, you cannot be conservative in today's NFL. It doesn't work. Look at the Super Bowl winners. You look at all the Super Bowl winners and how they've done it, from Bruce Arians, no risk and no biscuit. We saw that. We saw Kansas City. We've seen some of these other teams. And I don't think, when was the last time you saw a conservative team come out in one, like a major playoff game or the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question.
It's just, I
I
mean,
would, I
it
would,
worked. It worked from 2000 to 2010. There were times where it worked
right.
and it made sense, but these guys are putting the ball up. They're wanting to put up numbers. They're wanting to put up
Mhm.
Madden-like numbers. They're wanting to score every chance they get, and you can't play conservative like that because you will fall behind and you won't catch up.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the last couple like Super Bowl champions that were, I guess, like heavy defensive teams where they just kind of led with that. I would say, maybe I guess that Broncos team that won it.
Yeah, but
They
I
were,
don't.
I mean,
Yeah,
they still had Peyton Manning, which I
yeah,
understand. But again, like it wasn't like they were scoring at like a
yeah. You're right, and they
high
lean
clip.
heavily on the defense.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think you have to know when to be aggressive. I think that's the biggest thing. You have to know when to, you know, push the tempo and
Mhm.
understand the situation.
Right.
And I think Todd Bowles is all about that. I think he understands situational football. I think he is a guy that maybe at times relies too much on his defense or puts too much on
Yeah.
them. And that was kind of the issue with Tony Dungy as well. Like he
Yeah.
tried to put too much on their shoulders at
Mhm.
times. And some of that lends to the decision making, the game management type of scenarios that you're referencing to. Um,
You know,
I
it's
think.
interesting. I'm glad you said that because you
Mm,
just opened my eyes to some things.
mhm,
Because if you think about Todd Bowles last year, and it just dawned on me who your offensive coordinator is a
right.
guy that you're not 100% confidence in.
He didn't trust him.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And since you said that, and I'm going on record, at Buck What You Heard, Gene is wrong. Gene is wrong. I don't mind being wrong, but I will say this: I understand that. He's like, why am I putting the game in this guy's hands? Was pretty much his thought. I trust my defense. I know what my defense can do. Let me put my defense out on the field and let's see what they can do. And
Mhm.
that's the direction he went. And now that you say that, and I'm just kind of thinking about it, that makes 100% sense because Lord Byron was like, wow, it was
Yeah.
just it was a bad situation all the way
Yeah.
around.
So yeah, I think it's a little bit of that. Obviously not trusting your OC. So that lends to some decisions where you have confidence in your defense, and maybe at times I think he has a little bit too much confidence in them, but
Mhm.
that goes to the point where your offense is not helping out your defense when it comes to staying out on the field, playing that complementary football,
Mhm.
not committing to the run game. So when you have a Dave Canales coming in here, this is a guy that you went out, you handpicked because you trust what he's going to bring as far as the philosophy. He
Exactly.
understands situations. He understands that you have to help your defense out by
Mhm.
staying committed to that run game, even if it's not working, and setting up your play action passing game where you can get some big plays and score touchdowns that way to put your defense in a better position where they can be aggressive because guess what? They're up 14 to nothing and they can get after the quarterback now because you're not in a situation where you can't take any chances or risk certain things because your offense isn't going to score the ball.
Exactly. Or you
So,
you come up with some harebrained plan that is not going to work. And you've
right.
been watching this defense. And as a defensive coordinator, you're watching this guy calling plays. And as a defensive coordinator, I think you realize, okay, he's running this play, and I've seen this from this defense. I know what this defense is going to do, and you're still running this play. So, to your point, that's kind of how I would, as a head coach, I'm like, what, dude? Why are you doing this? It doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
But again, that's in the past. Where we are right now, I'm comfortable with the offensive coordinator we have, and I will be even more comfortable as we see the plays, as we see the games develop throughout the season. And a lot of people were like, "Oh man, he's never called a play before," but it sounds like to me, just in this press conference, that this guy's ready to get out there and do it. He knows what to do. He knows play calling, and I think he's got a really nice staff supporting him. And I really believe that this will benefit the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think you need those fresh eyes. You need fresh ideas to come in here and come up with plays or call plays like that.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's all about, variation. It's all about being, just keeping things off balance, where you're attacking in different ways. You're attacking from, a base foundation where you have certain formations that you're comfortable with, but you're showing variations of that same play multiple times again. So it's all about.
And what that does is it makes a defensive coordinator second guess himself. Okay, they're lined up the same way, but they're running a different play, and you don't know what they're coming out with. Whereas last year, I mean, my wife was watching the game with me. She's they're going to run again, and damned if they didn't run again. She doesn't even watch football, and she's like, "Oh, they're going to run again," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So as soon as a ball was snapped, they ran it. And I'm like, really? Somebody that doesn't know football is sitting here watching it. She's like, oh, they're going to run the ball. Really? That just, I'm sorry, man. It was at that point, I just kind of broke down and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Hey, I mean, Rachel knows sports. She knows.
I mean, she was a state golf champion, but we're talking about football here. But, she knows her stuff. She doesn't know. She does know her stuff.
Yeah. But no, you're absolutely right. It's all about, finding those misdirections. It's about, pre-snap motion, tempo, knowing when to play fast, when not to play fast. And
because you don't want the opposing defense comfortable.
No, you're trying to make them uncomfortable as much as possible. Because really defense is reactionary, right? So if they can't get tendencies down on what you're doing, you have a good chance of having success because they're always in that back pedal. They're not able to be aggressive because they don't know what is coming next. And I think that's the biggest thing that will be the biggest step for Dave Canales this year. Can he make those adjustments when tendencies start to become, a focus and start to be realized? Can he change those things up where he can catch teams off guard?
Yeah. And I mean, last year, those guys were every defense was pinning their ears back because they knew it was coming.
Yep.
They just knew. And they were going, doing their thing. So, again, this is going to be somebody said a breath of fresh air. I feel the same way. Sal 319, thank you so much for, coming into the chat. I appreciate that. I think this is what we've needed. We need innovation. You look at you look at Sean McVay. When Sean McVay came into the NFL and he became a household name, he was this is a guy that was making plays, who was making adjustments, putting people in the best position to do what they needed to do. And I think that's what the Bucs need. I think that's what the NFL needs. We always need that one coach that can come in and make plays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And Sal makes a great point there with the innovation. And I think I saw something. I think it was like PFF stat where the Buccaneers receivers, their routes, I think had like the least of. It was something where the corner was just running the routes for the receivers.
Yes,
we had
I
like
remember
the most,
that.
Yeah, we had like the most as far as percentage wise. And that tells you like they just knew what was coming. We were running, pretty much the same plays every week, or the same variation of the play, same personnel grouping. Every time Coach Keefe came in on a play, we knew it was a run. So they just had keys, they had tendencies. And I think that's something that, Dave is talking about shifting away from, and hopefully giving these guys more opportunities to make plays and getting guys open in space, moving Mike Evans in the slot and moving him around where he's not pressed, he's not double teamed all the time. And that's the job of the offense coordinator, right? It's about getting the ball into your best player's hands. And I 100%. Think the more you can do that, obviously the more successful you're going to be. I mean, just look at what the Rams do with Cooper Kupp. Like Cooper Kupp is their offense. They find a way to get him the football.
Yep.
Everybody knows he's getting the football, but guess what? They can't stop it because he's moved around everywhere. They use him in so many different ways that it's hard to key in on. And how do you stop a guy like that? It's just, it's very tough.
It really is, and
Yeah.
it's I think it's frustrating for fans because we're in a place right now where fans can go on YouTube, fans can watch game film, fans can do so much, and there's so much more. And this is not a knock on the previous era of football, but
Right.
today's fans are very astute when it comes to the NFL. And it doesn't just mean in the NFL in America. I mean, in the UK, those guys like Bucs UK, you look at some of the stats that they throw out and watch how they're viewing the game and watch how they're viewing how the game is called. I mean, we've come to a place where we understand a lot more of this, and offensive coordinators can't BS you into saying, "Oh, well, we didn't do this, 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 and this." No, we understand what's going on as much as you do, buddy. And I think that was kind of, I don't want to say Lord Byron's downfall, but there were times where he was like talking down to people, and we saw what was happening. We understood what was going on, and it was frustrating. So again, I'm good with this, man. I'm happy with where this team is, and win or lose, I'm excited about this season.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I don't know if I told you this before, but I think this season is really a win-win, for the team. I feel,
100%.
I feel like they're going to be competitive. I think they'll be right in that 7 to 10 win mark. And even if they're not, let's say, the worst happens where it doesn't work, injuries happen. Unfortunately, win maybe, let's say they win maybe like 4 or 5 games. I still think that's a win because guess what? It sets you up for the next year where you can add another talented piece, whether that be a quarterback or a premium position. Obviously, it could mean changes at the head coach spot, maybe not, depending on how it goes. But I think either way, you're going to see where this team progresses throughout the year. And I think that will be the biggest thing. And you really get a clear understanding of what you have, not only for this year, but for years to come. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, me too. Sal, thank you so much, guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please. I normally don't jump on here and say hit the like and subscribe, but it means a lot. If you're in here checking us out and you like the content, I really appreciate that. I'm going to try to get some really cool people on this year. To just to make the show a little bit more exciting and more lively. Having Pless on, Pless, I appreciate you, man. Your wealth of knowledge, and it's hard to disagree with you, man, because you the way you bring stuff up and you make me think about stuff, and I am happy with that. So
Yeah,
again,
man.
and Crown made a great point here. Let me put this up on the screen because this is huge right here. Next year we get our cap room back.
Yes.
And I didn't get a chance to touch on this, but I think eating that Tom Brady contract a little bit here this year, we didn't kick the can down the road like other division rivals have done for the past decade with nothing to show for it. But we're coming in here, and I think this puts Tampa in a really good position. It gives them a lot more options. I like that they've signed certain players, cornerstone players for this team, and you can kind of build around this. So again, great moves. Jason Light, props to him. As we've said, Jason Light has he hasn't been perfect, but he's made great moves, and he's made the Buccaneers competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate the kind words, Gene. I think it's important that you put things, at least I try to put things in context, and I try to make it a way where it's easier to understand, and you kind of bring everything full circle. At least that's what I try. And, there's every situation is different, everything. Year to year, things change. Like I always tell you, the roster's fluid, right?
Fluid.
It's always moving. There's always different things that are going on. So just kind of try to bring up the the different aspects of everything around the involving the team and try to paint a clear picture. I think that's important. So yeah,
Yeah,
man,
very
it's
important.
it's going to be a great year. I'm excited for this season. Can't wait. A lot of stuff coming down the pipe next week with just one big roster cut. I mean, what's your thoughts on that as far as they just do one big cut to get down to 53?
I think it's good,
You
and I'm
think
going
it's
to tell you why.
beneficial?
I think it's good because there's always going to be that player that you're like, I don't know what's this guy. I wish I could see him a little bit more.
Mhm.
And then you get him in the right circumstance, and you see him, and you see what he does, and you're like, okay, this is a guy that I feel like will help us win some games. We're going to bring this guy in, and I think this gives them an opportunity to look at everybody a little bit closer, and then come up with your final cuts. And I think it should have been this way all along, personally.
Yeah, no, I like it too. I think it gives opportunities for not just the team, but also for the players that say do get released. I
Mhm.
think, you put them in all one big pool, and I think gives, teams an opportunity to really look and analyze
Yeah,
and see, maybe we can go and pick up this guy or, vice versa. I think it opens up the opportunity for trades like we're
yeah,
seeing now. Certain teams are making trades just to move some pieces around. Maybe not the case in Arizona. They're just trying to tank, it looks like.
yeah.
But
But think about it. I mean,
yeah.
here's a guy that was on your draft board, and he gets cut, and he's available to you, and you feel
Mhm.
like this is the guy that would fit in my scheme.
Yep.
Let me grab this guy. He's available.
Right.
And again, it's one of those things where I feel like, it gives these guys a second chance. They have a chance to go back on, maybe fourth quarter. This guy makes a play, and he's just consistent throughout the fourth quarter. Here's a guy that I think we need. We're gonna bring him in.
Yeah, no, I think you're right on it. Um, and it gives more flexibility for practice squad additions. So yeah, I think that is nice. Just having that one big cut instead of breaking it down over the several weeks. And then I do like now that you only have 3 preseason games where you kind of get that bye week. Before the regular season. I think that is a nice thing because it kind of just allows your teams to reset, organize, make sure everything's in place, and then you get ready, for that long haul. And I guess in a way, that's like kind of like their mini bye or their second bye week that they're talking about. But I still
Right.
think they should add in another bye week during the season because there's so many
The
games.
NFL, the NFL is such a physical game, such a
Yeah,
violent game, and with the emergence of the Thursday night game, there should be 2 bye weeks.
yeah,
I'm sorry, there should be. I really don't believe, and me, in my opinion, the wrong way, Roger. I feel like he's not protecting the shield. He's
mhm,
about making money for the owners. He's
yeah,
not caring about the
maximizing.
players themselves. I
Yeah,
believe they're, if especially Thursday night, I would do away with Thursday night football
I
personally.
wish they could. Yeah,
Because I think that it waters down the game. I think when you got Monday Night Football, remember Monday Night Football was the premiere. If you're on Monday Night Football, you've made it. You've
mhm,
done something very special. But then you bring in Thursday Night Football, which waters down the game. In my opinion, I've always said this, and I know they're trying to make as much money as they can. I believe in supply and demand. And you know what? The less football you have, you make people, oh man, we haven't had a game since Monday.
mhm,
So you got to wait till Sunday to have another game. But oh no, they've screwed it all up now. Now you got a game on Thursday, which is like, oh yeah, well, I
yeah.
guess we got games on Sunday. That kind of thing. I just don't agree with this. I feel like it's counterproductive for the sport itself. And players getting hurt, players not having enough time to recover. You play on Sunday and you have to turn around and play on Thursday. A physically violent game like this is not right.
Mhm. No, I think you're on it. The only thing with Thursday Night Football that I do love, and Amazon does a great job with this, is their
Oh my
presentation.
God. I
Their
wish.
presentation, yeah. their presentation is so good. And I really like, I think it's, Kurt Herbstreit is on there. I actually like his commentary.
Yeah,
And
me too.
I just like the presentation that they bring. I wish, like you said, other broadcasts could, adapt to this and bring, the all 22 look that they have,
Mm,
and just a different variety of angles. And, they have the stats up there, that you can follow.
yeah,
So they really
that's
do a great job with that. But
yeah. I was hoping that that NFL Sunday ticket would have gone to Amazon, because
mhm,
then you would get that on every game.
yeah,
That would have been exciting. But
right.
when you only get it on Thursday,
Mhm,
and it just kind of takes away, like I said, it takes away from everything. And I would love to see them do away with Thursday night. And you got a Sunday night game, you got the games during the regular Sunday, and then
mhm,
Monday. That's enough right there. And I think that will make fans tune in more often, because this Thursday night game, I mean, guys that are not invested in the team are less interested in this Thursday night game. It's
right.
just what it is.
Yeah, no, agreed. And it'll be interesting to see if like YouTube TV does anything with their presentation. Um, Probably not, because again, it's just
Yeah, yeah,
it's just Sunday
YouTube.
ticket. And I've seen Sunday ticket before, and that is something that they were lacking. It's like they didn't really put much as far as having like some type of border around the screen or something to help you guys out. When
Well,
you're watching.
I think what you're talking about, if you got it on a computer, you can watch
Mhm.
like 4 games at one time.
Right,
You
yeah, it
could,
can do the
yeah,
split screen. Yeah.
right. Or you could do 4 games. You do whatever you want to.
Mhm.
But again, what Amazon has done is next level, and that needs to be that. I would love to see that incorporated. I would think that fantasy football fans would love to have something like this on a regular basis, just to get an idea of what their guy is doing.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I think they dropped the ball on this by giving it to YouTube. That's my personal opinion.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, so, yeah, it definitely should be interesting. We'll see how it plays out. I know, our boy, Ken Barrett, he's got that Sunday
KB.
ticket. Yeah, he got Sunday ticket for, YouTube, so I'll definitely be asking him what's his thoughts on it.
Yeah, maybe we can get some screenshots. I won't turn
Yeah,
him in or anything. KB, not gonna turn you in, bro. I promise. Me and you, we cool. We're still
yeah.
cool. Unless they, have like a reward or something like that. But me and
Mhm.
you are cool. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Well, so while we're on that subject, what do you think of this in Crown? Great, and Crown bringing it.
Mhm.
What do you think of this new NFL Plus?
Oh man, I've had my battles with NFL Plus, because I mainly just use it. I mainly just use it for the all 22,
Mm,
and unfortunately, the international version went to just straight like it went to straight
trash.
dog poop. It's bad, so I had to cancel that and get back on the US version. I'm waiting to get my benefits as a season pass member, because usually they give us NFL Plus for free. That hasn't come in yet, so
So
it's
wait a
kind
minute.
of.
How does that work? Because maybe I'm missing out on something.
Well, as a season pass member for the Bucs,
Oh, okay,
they
okay. I see
yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah, yeah, they give us a code where we can use it and get it for the year.
Mm.
So still waiting on that. So I've been just kind of using like different Gmail accounts and just getting free trials, and making it work that way. Because I refuse to pay. Yeah, I refuse to pay the NFL Plus because they're
Uh,
just so inconsistent. Like you can't even get the all 22 on your phone like you used to,
right.
which is annoying. And then I have to use like a VPN and all this stuff for the US
Oh,
version,
that's just
because
so trash.
so it's just like so up and
It
down.
is.
And Al Bundy, why was I using the international? It's just because it was better. Like it had a better setup at one point.
Oh,
You
yeah, it
could
did.
you could actually go in and select the play that you wanted to look for. You didn't have to go throughout the like entire game. You could just click on the play and it's right there for you. It was just easy to use, very
Mm.
convenient, but they messed it up because now they're with Dawson now, or however you say that name, but terrible company. They went bad. But yeah, I mean, if
I mean
NFL
to tell
Plus
you.
is
I
yeah,
meant
go
to
ahead.
tell you. So I got this. I know we're well over time, but this is fun. Um, there's this company called X-Real, and X-Real makes these AR glasses.
Mhm.
So when you're watching TV, you've got like this 200-inch screen in front of you.
Oh yeah.
So I'm watching a Bucs game, got the glasses on, got my AirPods in, and I feel like I'm at the game.
Hmm.
And it's just wild until the commercial comes on, of course. But I'm sitting here watching this game, and now I'm like hooked on this.
Hmm.
Now it's like I don't want to watch the game. I don't want to watch the game on a regular TV screen anymore. I want to put these glasses on and I want
So
to
what
watch
what
it.
what are these called again?
They're called X-Reel. So
X-Real.
basically,
Okay.
what you do is there's a plug-in that goes into your glasses. They look like
Hmm.
Wayfarers. You're like
Okay.
fairly what was it, Risky Business. They look like
Gotcha.
those glasses. So it plugs into your phone. And because I have NFL Plus, I put
Hmm.
on a Bucks game and I put these little blackout shields over the glasses, and I'm sitting here watching this game, and I feel like I'm at the game because
Yeah.
I can see everything. I mean, you can see blades of grass flying up in the air and stuff. It is so cool. But
That's awesome.
I'm like, now I'm hooked on this. But because of the violation of I forgot what the TV rights are called, I
Hmm.
can't watch regular games on it. So it kind of
Oh
sucks.
yeah.
But hopefully, I know they're working out something where you can watch like live TV with them. But
Hmm.
it's impressive, man. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you what, man, I would not if I had a chance to watch every game this season on it, I'm going to try to do that. But it's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's cool. So is that sounds like it's like similar to like Apple Vision or whatever they're
Yeah,
coming
but
out
but
with?
but like I've used the virtual reality things,
Hmm.
and I've actually gotten physically sick, taking
Uh,
them off and getting back
gotcha.
to the real world.
Yeah.
But with these glasses, because they're AR, you can
Hmm.
actually look at your screens. You could be watching a game like right now. I could be watching a game, and I could still see my regular screens,
Hmm.
and it's like it's crazy to see it, and it just puts everything. I'm like, this is next level. This is where the NFL is going, to where you will be able to get on your AR or whatever and watch a football game, and it just changes the whole complexion of the game.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm trying to type in the chat. I can't spell tonight. um
Type in X Real.
yeah, X Real.
Yep, it's wild, man.
But no, that's cool. Yeah, I would definitely watch a game like that, especially if it's, like a 4K type of thing where you can just see
Yeah,
everything,
and
super
it is.
advanced.
It's like it's like Ultra
Yeah.
HD.
Yeah.
So like I said, man, I was watching this game. I'm like, wow, this is incredible.
Mhm.
So I'm watching all 22 with these glasses on, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'm just, I can't believe that this is what I'm seeing. So I'm like pausing on my phone. I'm looking at this play. I'm like, oh wow, I can see that this is so much clearer. But it
Mhm.
definitely, um, and it's REAL, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I can't spell today.
No, it's all good.
Um, but yeah, I mean, back to NFL Plus, I think they offer a lot of good things. I think there's a lot of good features on there. But the problem with me is it has too many glitches. Like there's just a
Yeah.
lot of things that don't go right. And for me, I'm all about just keeping things simple. I want
Yeah.
easy access. I want things to work properly. And I just
You make
wish
a
they
good
had,
offensive coordinator.
yeah. I just I just wish they didn't change it as much as they did, because in
Yeah.
years past, like 2015 to 2016, that time they had Game Pass working fantastically, where
Yeah, I remember.
you could go back, you could watch all the games that you needed. You could watch it on your phone, you could watch it on all devices, and it was just it was much better in my opinion. But we'll see how it progresses. Hopefully they continue. Yeah, there you go. Hopefully it continues and improves, where they have more functionality, where you can actually see like last year's games and all
Mhm.
that, have a history. I know right now you can
Comparison
watch,
stats.
yeah, and you can watch last year's game right now in all 22, which is good. Um, but yeah, I just hope like the database continues to grow and gets better and it's more functional.
Yeah, me too, man.
Mhm.
You know, I haven't had any problems with it so far. Just because I use it for a couple of basic things. I don't use it for everything.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, man, it's just like it's made me more excited
Mm.
before because the off season has been hella toxic this year. Been kind of staying away from the off season, not really talking about Bucks too much. But now we're
Mm.
almost here. It's time to get into it. People are like trashing Mike Evans. Oh, Mike Evans, now he's got Baker, he's not going to get 1,000 yards. But you got to consider, Mike Glennon, he had two mid quarterbacks throwing the ball to him, and he
Yeah.
still got it over 1,000 yards. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
again, and let's not even factor in all the drops he had. Still had a bunch of drops, but he still got that.
Mm-hmm.
And just imagine if he had made receptions on some of the drops, it would have put him within 1,500, 1,600 yards easily.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love Mike. I think he's really gonna love this offense. I think he'll have probably more opportunities to get big plays. I think his effectiveness and efficiency is going to be a lot better this season, where you're going to see him make more downfield plays, or just the more, I guess, short to intermediate plays where he's going to get a lot of first downs and do stuff like that. He'll get more he'll get more yards after the catch, I think.
Yeah.
And then where he'll really come into play is going to be the red zone, where he's going to get a lot more touchdown looks. They're going to use him in the red zone like he should be used, where he can get those one-on-ones and use his size. Yep. I expect him to have at least 10 touchdowns or more this year for sure.
You know what's interesting is that's one of the strengths that Baker Mayfield has in the red zone.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, I didn't even think about it, but he's never really had targets. And, a lot of people talk about Odell Beckham Jr. Miss me with that bullshit because the guy had a fucking one-handed catch. He gets passed on from team to team to team. And this guy is an amazing wide receiver. Not to take anything away from him, but I'm just saying this guy is mid at best. But I just don't think he's not Mike Evans. He's not Mike. That's like Keenan Ivory Wayans or whatever that fool's name is in San Diego, or excuse me, L.A. Keenan Thompson, Keenan. What is his name?
Oh, Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen, yeah.
There you go.
I thought every Keenan, but the right one. But this guy, he's always bragging about what he's done. He hasn't done anything.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he'll get hurt in the middle of the season. Doesn't give you anything after that. Whatever. But Mike Evans is something special, and Bucs fans appreciate Mike Evans. I don't care who you are, appreciate Mike Evans. You got to, because this guy is once in a lifetime. I mean, as a longtime Bucs fan, you go back to the 80s, you go back to now, I have not seen a wide receiver. Mike Evans is the greatest wide receiver Bucs fans have ever seen, ever. And I'll go back to the beginning of the beginning of when the Bucs started to now. I'm telling you, Mike Evans is that guy. He's the GOAT. He is the GOAT in Bucs circles. Nobody else should even be mentioned with Mike Evans. Nobody's name should be mentioned.
No, I agree. I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer. He might not be first ballot, just because, again, he didn't get the attention early on. I think he's starting to get more attention. But even now, I mean, you see him still get kind of disrespected, throughout the national media. Not a lot of people talk about him, unfortunately. He did get talked about more when Tom Brady came here, and I'm glad, he got on that spotlight, because I think that's going to help him. But he's definitely a Hall of Famer. He'll get in regardless. I'm just not sure if he'll be first ballot, but he's on his way. I mean, he's already, I think, top 10 NFL history as far as receiving yards already, or he's in the top, he's in that top half. So he's on his way to, putting himself up there with the greats. And obviously, 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons. That's very impressive. There you go, G Vegas. I agree with that. I think he's on pace to do that. So
yeah.
And
what does he need? Like, he needs one more to tie Rice and 2 more to pass. Is that right?
Something along those lines. I think, and I think Al Bundy's right. I think he only needs about 3,000 more yards, which that's probably in line with how much longer he's going to play. Probably another 3 seasons, maybe 5 if he can stay healthy. But yeah, I think he's got it in him to, go for at least a few more good years, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, he's just so consistent. He's really good, and
I love this guy.
I'm excited to see him in an offense where he's just going to be running all sorts of routes. They're going to use him in so many different ways. You're finally going to see him like just catch the ball underneath where he's moving east and west a
Right.
lot more slants, a lot more, just running across east and west where you can use his size. It's going to be
And
a lot of fun.
they say everything happens for a reason. I
Mhm.
like the fact that Mike Evans came in while Vincent Jackson was still playing. R.I.P. to Vincent Jackson. But
Right. Yeah.
I think that Vincent Jackson had a huge impact on Mike Evans. I mean, you look at Mike Evans, the changes he makes with his contracts, the things he does for the team, the things he
Mhm.
does for the community. And I can't stress it enough. We're very blessed to have a Mike Evans on our team. I mean, and this is not to take away anything away from like Chris Godwin or any of your
Mhm.
other wide receivers in the past, but Mike Evans is something special, and I don't think Bucs fans are ever going to see that again. And he's just an amazing person.
Yeah, no doubt. And yeah, he's a great guy. So really excited to see what he can do this season. And Chris Godwin, I think he'll be the one that has a lot of benefit. I think you'll see him get more down the field plays, which is going to be great because he'll be lined up outside. And
Yep.
now it's just about finding that consistent player and the slot receiver spot. And maybe that's a Trey Palmer who's got a ton of ability. Again,
And speed. I mean, you're talking
another
about breakaway
yeah,
speed.
super fast, and another guy that's an LSU player as well. He transferred to Nebraska, so he has that LSU background, and they recruit good receivers, and just seems to have that swagger to him, and hopefully
Oh
he
yeah.
can continue to develop. So he'll be exciting to watch. And then you have another guy in Devin Tompkins who can bring all sorts of explosive plays as well. So yeah, really
I'm
good
really
group.
looking forward to him in the special teams. I think
Mhm.
if I had to make a bet, I would bet that it would be Devin Tompkins that gets the first kick return, punt return for a touchdown. For the Bucs this, and I think it'll happen this season. That's my hot take. I don't do
Mhm.
a whole lot of hot takes, but that is one of those. I think Devin Tompkins is one of those guys that I, I feel like he'll come in and he's gonna make some plays that nobody would see coming.
No, I agree with you. I think he's got a great chance of taking one back to the house. That would be awesome because it's been a while since we've done one of those. Not since like Michael Spurlock and Clifton Smith. So
Yeah,
yeah, it'd be
long
cool.
overdue.
Yeah, it'd be cool to get one of those. So yeah, he definitely has that potential. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready to see this defense. I'm excited about the team overall. I think they have a lot of good pieces, and yeah, we'll just see how it goes. But it should be a
Awesome.
lot better. I think it's just gonna be more fun. I think we're gonna have much more, fun time watching this team than we have in years
Yeah,
past.
I really believe I'll drink less beer this year. I don't think I'll be as stressed as like last year.
Right. Yeah. I
I think this
agree.
is gonna be for my liver thanks the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. So
Yeah.
just put that out there. But guys, real quick, let me know what you think about doing this on Thursdays. I've been on Wednesdays since God who knows how long, but I really am comfortable with Thursdays. I love this. This is a great way to get into the weekend. And if you guys are liking the show, please feel free to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. It helps out a lot. And my goal is to, I'm not at 1,000. My man's at almost at 5,000. And let's not
Yeah.
forget about
Almost
Michael
there.
Pless and Real Buck Stock. We got to get my man to 5,000. I'm actually
Yeah.
going to unfollow him so I could be the 5,000 person to follow him. That's
Yeah.
my goal right there.
We need
I know it's kind of cheating, but yeah, I'm all about that. So,
yeah,
so
we
we got to
need
make that happen.
we need
But
10 more. We need 10 more guys. So
10 more for
yeah.
5,000
Yeah.
viewers.
Let's do it.
Al, yes, this will be. If everybody's cool with that, if everybody's liking that, I am moving the show to Thursday. I'm having a lot more fun on Thursdays. It seems like a lot more people are able to get on. We're
Mhm.
not. There's like a quagmire. Is that an SAT word? No, it's not an SAT word. It could be, but there's a lot of people that are doing their shows on Wednesday. I feel like Thursday would be good. Nobody else has a whole lot going on. And the Bucs are not. I don't think the Bucs are playing on a Thursday night game.
I think they just have the one. I think it's Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken.
And once that's over, hey,
Yep.
Thursday night is home right here. So I'm thinking that's the direction that I want to go, and and I think it's gonna work. So yeah, Thursday. Let's do Thursday. Let's make it a
No,
date.
I think it's good because again, the show usually is going to be done before, Thursday night football happens. So yeah, I think it good. It's a good time. It keeps
Yeah.
everyone, still on schedule for what they want to do, and yeah, I love it. I love being a part of it. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Well, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate everybody that hung in there for this, hour and a half show. I appreciate you. But we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Plus, last thoughts before we roll out.
yeah. Just everyone have a great week. Enjoy the Bucks game this Saturday. You're going to see a lot of starters, so it should be a lot of fun. Get a better idea of what this team is going to present. Don't panic if things don't go the way you want them to. Realize that there's time to progress and get ready for the season. And the main thing, hopefully everyone stays healthy. But just want to say much love and support. Thank you guys for being in here and supporting the show. Be sure to hit that like button. And as always, everyone, just have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Yeah, guys, thank you so much. I'm really appreciative. The chat was lit. I love it. Ric Flair, limousine riding, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun, and having a hard time keeping these Gators down. But anyway, I'm loving it. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. And we'll be doing this again next Thursday. Hopefully I can drag him back on here. If not, I'll probably just open up the phone lines and have you guys call in. But anyway, thank you so much for checking us out. And we are out.